Yeah, Eugene, good morning. I'm joined by Colton Hab. He is a junior here at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, and he's sharing some of the terrifying moments that happened here yesterday. Colton, good morning. Tell us where you were just before the shots were fired.
I was in the 500 building, so there's the main courtyard. It's a 4-square surrounded by building courtyard, and then behind the 700 building, which is the building next to mine, is where the horrific accident had happened.
So tell us what you heard just before school ended.
So at about 2:20, the fire alarm was pulled. So I thought at first either culinary had set off some sort of smoke detector and we're going to evacuate, or that this was in a drill, or this was another drill that we had this morning, and we were just going to go from there.
And then you heard gunshots. Did you know there were gunshots right away?
At first, it sounded like firecrackers because we had been planning for an event to happen, something like a staged area where we're going to do an active shooter scenario. So the first 7 gunshots that I originally had heard just sounded like firecrackers because they were so far away and it echoed through a hallway. But as more shots came in, I realized that it wasn't firecrackers. It was actually an armed shooter, and this wasn't a drill.
So what was your reaction at that point?
My first thing was, I'm going to shut the door, grab the paperwork I need for this kind of thing, and then make sure where's my family. Because I have a brother that goes here. He's a sophomore, and I was just wondering, where is he?
Tell us, talk to us about the scene inside the classroom. How were the students and the teacher there?
The teacher was very calm. He helped calm everybody down. We had opened the door and we let as many people in that came out for the fire drill. We brought them in and then we barriered them. I was in a JROTC classroom at the time, so we have marksmanship. So we have Kevlar sheets that are the backdrop for the air rifles. So we put them in front of everybody just so it's a layer of Kevlar. It won't do much, but it's better than nothing. So we had everybody hid behind there, and then we just armed ourselves and hoped for the worst, but prayed for the best.
Do you know some of the victims who unfortunately did not make it?
My old football coach, his name is Coach Weiss. I don't know if he's in critical condition or if he actually did pass. And then my friend's sister, her name's Elena Petty. She's still missing. We hope for the best, but we don't think she made it.
What do you make out of all of this? I mean, yesterday you came to school, you said you work in a barn, you were making sure the horses were fine, then you come to school and this happened. What do you make out of this? You're 17 years old, you're here in school, and then this happens.
I mean, I just thought at first it was going to be a drill, and then as soon as it had happened, I was, where's my family? And then from now, I just hope that we can be able to get back to our family aspect in school and just be able to get back to normal eventually.
Were you able to speak with your parents right away?
Yeah, I called my brother. That was my first call, and then my second call was my dad to let him know what was happening, turn on the news, and give me updates as much as possible.
You also said that you were speaking with someone on the phone while you were inside the class. Who were you speaking with, and what were they telling you to do?
She's a retired police officer for Coral Springs. Her name was Jill Shelton. I call her my aunt. We're very close. She was on the phone with one of the people at the scene, just giving me as much info. She was telling me to barricade as many people behind us, arm ourselves with whatever. So I grabbed a chair, 2 pieces of wood, and a fire extinguisher, and tipped a couple tables up and just waited, because that's what she said to do. So if, God forbid, he ever did come in the classroom, I was going to defend myself as best as possible. So
at this point, you knew what was going on. You knew that there was an active shooter in the school.
Yes, ma'am. I had figured out through her and on the news. My friend had his phone out with the news feed from the helicopter live. So as soon as we had figured out that it was an active shooter, we got everybody to safety as best as possible and just waited for the worst.
Colton, one of our anchors, Eugene, has a question for you. Go ahead, Eugene.
Yeah, Marybel, if you can ask him. We just heard him talking about the assistant coach. He said he wasn't sure if the coach was critical, what was going on. We do now have confirmed through our partners at the Miami Herald that the assistant football coach has passed. If you would share that with him and what he could tell us about that coach.
We're just getting word that, unfortunately, the assistant coach did not make it. Sorry to break this news to you, but what can you tell us about him?
He definitely, he graduated from Marjory Stoneman Douglas in 1999, and as soon as he graduated, he became a security guard, and that's where he spent his whole career. He was very open and let as many people that needed his help, he helped them.
You saw him yesterday.
I saw him yesterday morning. I had a 20-minute conversation with him in between classes, just talking to him, seeing how football was, because we just started our season again. I'm not in the program, so I was just checking up on how we were doing, what was going on, and he seemed perfectly fine. He was happy, making sure everybody was getting to the class and just doing his normal thing.
He was outside of the building when the shooting occurred, and you had mentioned earlier that he ran towards the building.
Yes, ma'am. He was in his golf cart, and I heard from a friend of mine I mean, he was a big man. He sprinted with everything he had towards it to make sure everybody was safe. And I heard that he got in front of a couple people and shielded them, and he actually took the bullets for them. And he, I guess now didn't make it, but he saved their life for sure.
I am so sorry for your loss and for everything, unfortunately, that you've had to go through. And also, many people may say also that you're a hero for helping out all your students in the classroom. How do you feel about that?
I don't know that I'm a hero. It's one of those things that you got to do. You have to make sure that everybody's safe. I want to eventually join the military, so that was just one of my mindsets, that I'm going to try to help as many people. I just wish I could help more.
All right, Colton, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you. So Eugene and Lauren, there you heard just one of the many stories that we'll be hearing throughout the day, throughout the days, and throughout the weeks, of course, of what happened here at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. We are now just a little closer to the school. As you can see right behind me, there's one of BSO's command centers, and at 10:30 this morning, they will be having a briefing. Back to you.
Marybel.